With that in mind, it is 7 o'clock, so we're going to start our service. And so I welcome everybody, and I see the recording buttons on. It's Wednesday, February 3rd. My name's Paul. I'll be your host tonight. We have the wonderful Reverend Tony speaking tonight. But there's a couple things I want to let you know, a couple of interesting things. First, I say hello, church family. Isn't it great that we can get together on Wednesdays? Yay. And this is our little midweek pick-me-up service in between Sundays. It gives us a chance to have an informal, intimate, and rich experience. That's what Reverend Jeff likes us to have. And we've pretty much adopted the satsang style for most of our Wednesday nights lately. And Reverend Tony will be doing that style tonight. And that's where we ask the speaker to speak for about 20 minutes and then open it up for that rich, informative, and intimate discussion. If you're here for the first time, we welcome you. We have a lot of information I'll do in the announcements that you might find interesting. Our annual theme is Timeless Wisdom, Evolutionary Vision. I'll say that again. It's a mouthful for me. Timeless Wisdom, Evolutionary Vision. And our monthly theme is kicking off tonight. This is the first Wednesday. It's before Sunday. So, Tony, you're breaking the ice on the new monthly theme.
I know.
One journey, many paths. And this month at Oakland Center, we're having a focus on Black History Month. With the one journey, many paths theme. Yay. So Tony, you got a big load tonight.
I know. I'm honored. Yeah, I'm on the first float.
There you go. You will be muted by our Zoom team, and as we if you haven't already turned off your camera and mic, if you would do that now, that would be great. That improves the quality of our transmission. And with that being said, Reverend Tony, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and open us up in prayer now and do that treatment you've been waiting to do. And for those that don't know, Reverend Tony is one of our staff ministers here, and we're very, very fortunate to have him with us this Wednesday night. So I thank you in advance, Reverend Tony, and turn it over to you.
Thank you, Paul, for that love and that introduction. As I said a few minutes ago, and for those of you who are just signing on, there is something in the air, and I'm feeling good about February, and it's probably been a long time. So as we just call Father, Mother, God, Spirit, Love, Light, let's just take a deep breath and know that is the breath and the heart and the mind of God that I am speaking and using right here and right now. So as I, Reverend Tony Bradford, speak my word, I know that it's the same word, love, and light for each and every one of you at the sound of my voice. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I use the word soul in the meditation this evening, and I am feeling spirit right here and right now, deep in my body, from the bottom of my feet to the top of my head. And it's not a sad cry. It's a fullness. It's a knowingness. It's a jubilant feeling. And I know that truth for each and every one of you. And that feeling is happiness and tambourines, health, light, love, joy. And I am so excited to be part of the community that shows itself, that works itself, that is itself. So I give thanks for this opportunity, especially the team, the ecclesiastical team and the Black History Month team that is putting together the most incredible, inclusive program for each and every one of you. And in that inclusivity, which is something right here, right now, it's a coming together, it's a recognition of one. And that's what the world needs now. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. So as I release this word and set the attention of this evening as just a giant blessing of hugs. I am blessed. So I release this word into the activity of love and law, letting go, letting God, and sealing it by saying, and so it is. That's the light I like to see. So, my people, your ears should be ringing, and I have been singing the song of the Center for Spiritual Living, Oakland, or Oakland Center for Spiritual Living, and I'll talk to you how I did that a little later. But back to this month of uh, Black History Month, and and one thing that's happening for me is that I'm feeling proud, and it's so nice to be with allies and friends and family that are actually celebrating that, and I'm feeling proud to be Black. And sometimes one of the songs that I hear a lot, and being Black can be exhausting sometimes, so it's nice to be held up and lifted. So I want to get into a little more of the definition of the themes for this month, and I know you'll hear it throughout the month. But February is called, or the they call it the theme or the piece that go it matches up to the big theme. It's called One Journey, Many Paths. And what comes to mind for me is like a giant octopus of love and truth. And one thing I know from my classes in world religions is that everybody's trying to get to God, and that's why there's so many different religions. Uh, but what they have in common, and what I know from my readings and my lessons, is that there is a love component to most every religion. So, what is also a theme for this week? Clean slate. And I'm going to read a little more detail about what that really means, or how the senior ministers who came up with this theme, what they meant by it. So, clean slate, because we are not bound by precedent, but by principle, we are readily able to surrender form to experience and embody spirit directly. We enter into a mode of deconstruction where the all is ever present, and yet the ways in which we experience it are done in new, meaningful ways. Now, that is so juicy and so wonderful. And that's where I'm going today, and this talk and this conversation with you all. And I'm going to talk about how this philosophy or discovering of it gave me the permission to move and to change and to add something new. A lot of you, or a lot of us, came from other religious experiences. And I think that those of you who grew up in this philosophy, as you embraced others and other philosophies into this melting pot of religious science, you were given permission to do that. And there, every time I talk about religious science or science of mind to someone, and I talk about all the things and all the ways that Ernest Holmes prepared this philosophy, it's just so nice. We got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And what was fun today is knowing that the history, the Black history, the Negro spirituals, the soul is part of this. There was only a time in history where, the slaves were just given a Bible, and then you were given it and you weren't allowed to read it. And some of them snuck off and basically learned how to read because of the Bible. But the Negro spirituals pulse, that song, that soul was a way that religion was blossomed or reminded from the Africa, where some of them came from, and that pulse and that religion is a feeling deep down in your soul. And we talk about this in Science of Mind a lot too, when you're doing treatments and prayers, especially in the classes. And then you finally get to that point where, okay, you got to feel it, you got to embody it. This is our opportunity this month, this week. And I'm gonna say this for the whole year. Let's start to embody it. Let's start to feel it. Um, Dr. Judith was talking about, for those of you who got on later, about standing at the door and greeting people. All I kept thinking in my head is the Wiz or show tunes, or we're just jumping up and down in the bleacher. Reverend Jeff would love that, jumping up and down in the aisles and just having a good old time. That's what I want to see. That's what I want you to feel. I want some of that too. So let's embody any way and every way we get to God, and we have permission. And this is what clean slate means. So one of the quotes I want to start off with tonight is from Ernest Holmes, and again, it's so apropos for the month of February. He says, "Freedom is the birthright of every living soul. Freedom is the birthright of every living soul." And that doesn't leave out anybody. He says every living soul. So that freedom, that financial freedom, that spiritual freedom, that loving feeling, this is what we are yearning and wanting for. As Paul said earlier, the countries are changing. I love what he also said about send a nice little note, send a nice little card. I love that. Quickly, a side note: I did 4 interviews today at my job, and what I always do when I interview, I send a note. I make sure I get the name and the title of everybody that was on my panel, and I send a handwritten note. I can't even tell you the last time I've received a note, maybe in the last 4 or 5 years. That art of gift, that art of thanks, and the personal touch is a little lost. And I'm thinking, boy, wouldn't it be nice for us to have Valentine's Day little envelopes or post office boxes against the wall like you did in grade school, and then all of us just put little Valentines in it. I would love that. So 2022, it's on. So tonight, and I'll speak from my heart. Um, God inside. What does it feel like, or what did it feel like for me when I felt that I had that permission to let God or a change in the religion that I grew up with. That is a big thing, especially with some of my friends that I discuss, and we have these intellectual conversations about God and religion, and they understand the concept and the philosophy of science of mind, but they won't leave their mama's church, and they will stay there with family and friends, but there is a draw, there's a pulse, and there is something special when you start to get that feeling and that fullness. And I now, a couple times, have recognized that. And that's what you see when they're jumping and jubilation. Sometimes you don't even need to hear the word or the spoken word or whatever is happening up at the pulpit. You feel it, that's right, and it's something that you can't teach. You almost gotta march around with it and make somebody feel the difference of that, and then you just start to add on to it and keep going. So we're into Black History Month. I want to talk about that a little because I learned something today. And why do we celebrate it? Why do we you know, go through all this hooping and hollering about Black history? It is so very important. So in 1926, it was called Negro History Week. So the precursor to Black History Month was created in 1926 in the United States by historian Carter G. Woodson and the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History. Okay, they announced the second week of February to be Negro History Week. And this is great. The week was chosen because it coincided with the birthday of Abraham Lincoln on February the 12th and of Frederick Douglass on February the 20th, both of which dates Black communities have celebrated it together since the late 19th century. So, Negro History Week was the center of the equation. The thought process behind the week was never recorded, but scholars acknowledge two reasons for its birth: recognition and importance. Woodson felt deeply that at least one week would allow for the general movement to become something annually celebrated. Also, after the 10-year-long haul to successfully complete his journal of Negro history, he realized the subject deserves to resonate with a greater audience. I talked about that. I feel good with my family. All right, here's more. From the event's initial phase, primary emphasis was placed on encouraging the coordinated teaching of the history of Black Americans in the nation's public schools. The first Negro History Week was met with a lukewarm response, gaining the cooperation of the Departments of Education of the states of North Carolina, Delaware, and West Virginia, as well as the city school administrations of Baltimore and Washington, D.C. Despite this far from universal observance, the event was regarded by Woodson as one of the most fortunate steps ever taken by the association, and plans for a repeat of the event on an annual basis continued. At the time of Negro History Week's launch, Woodson contended that the teachings of Black history was essential to ensure the physical and intellectual survival of the race within broader society. That's the important one that blew me away. If a race has no history, it has no worthwhile tradition. It becomes a negligible factor in the thought of the world, and it stands in danger of being exterminated. The American Indian left no continuous records. He did not appreciate the value of tradition. And where is he today? The Hebrew keenly appreciated the value of tradition, as as is attested by the Bible itself, right? Despite of worldwide persecution, therefore he is a great factor in our civilization. So I think that's Woodson added into that. I pulled this from Wikipedia. So that piece on the Indians, you need to, I think you need to go and check in on those communities. Because again, what I know from my friends and brothers and sisters, there is still vocal, there are still history, and they talk about it. All right, so soul, presence, that that permission to change or add religious science into whatever I'm already, set in my system, it feels to me, or it felt like God's presence. I was so excited when I discovered East Bay Church of Religious Science. At first, any church scared me after my stint with Jehovah Witnesses. But the first time I sat in that second row, and that was my seat, second row, four in, and I heard the music, and it was music, and it wasn't that it was different or was different than the church. I was ready to hear that music. And when you're ready and your soul and your heart and your mind is open to receive the word, even included in music, it didn't matter what was being told to me up at the pulpit, I was feeling it. And I felt the energy, I felt the love, I felt the joy, I felt Michelle Jordan's voice. It was something that resonated with me, and I can't tell you how much it hit me deep in my belly. And that is what I needed at the time. So understanding that we have approval, this philosophy, this month, the theme is telling us we can add and subtract and continue to find places and situations where you are fed. And I just love that. I am here and I'm being fed with the science of mind. So I also that melting pot we talk about, or I talked about. I want to play a video and a song, and I just want you to listen and see the faces and the voices, and knowing that this song traditionally is just was in one community, but this video is the face of what I'm feeling now, and I know a lot of you are feeling it. And then I'm going to open it up to questions about how you're feeling about the soul of God in you. Peter, can you play the video, please?
Both Lift Their Voice and Sing as a poem, which was set to music by his brother John Mosman Johnson in 1899. The song is now known as the Black National Anthem in America. It is a protest, a hymn, and a prayer of profound significance for our people. We lift every voice and sing to express ourselves. We lift every voice to show that we have strength in numbers and we will not be silent. We lift every voice and sing to be lifted, liberated, and free.
Freedom, the power to determine action without restraint. Freedom, the absence of or release from ties, obligations, or restrictions. Freedom, the ease or facility of movement or action. Freedom, frankness or boldness in manner or speech. Freedom, a political right. Until we are all free, none of us is free. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the warriors sing. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. The harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound and resound. Sing a song full of faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day come. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chasing rod. To the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat, I'm not a weary feet. Come to the place, come to your Father's side. God of our wearies, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast brought us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. So let's be from what God is forever. With the wine of the world we forget thee. Shadow beneath thy may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land.
That's what heaven on earth looks like and sounds like. And it's on the campus of Stanford. Thank you for letting me share that. And I hope you felt just like I did. And wow. And I'm going to open it up. When did you realize that you have permission to feel God? Just so anybody, oh, hold on, let me get the gallery view. I can tell you when it hit me. But that feeling, or one thing that I'll say, and then if anybody, people can raise their hands or take their mute off. I used to get scared when I'd see people jump up and faint and fall out, and I didn't understand what that was. But again, it's that full of God, and that is a way to shout to the rafters. And now that I'm in religious science, I've been given permission again to choose and feel everything of God around me and with all of you. All right, let's see. I'll try to guide this. Hands, voices, speak. Hey, Judith. So I want, yeah. See, I knew you would come on first. Goosebumps.
In Judaism, the kind of Judaism I grew up with, not so much, but the first time I came to California, I met this rabbi. He was called the Singing Rabbi. His name was Shlomo Carlebach, and he was the singing rabbi all over. And he had a place of love and prayer in Berkeley when he would visit. And I got to go there. And what it was is we were standing around in a circle. He was in the middle playing his guitar, and he's jumping up and down, playing the guitar and singing. And we're all jumping up and down. And that's when I first felt it this way, felt it that way, felt it in my soul. 1966. And the house shook on its foundation. It almost was about to fly off the foundation.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, yeah.
See, and your family back east thought you were crazy, right?
I didn't talk about it when I went back to Connecticut.
Yeah. All right. Who else wants to go? I love that. Thank you. Thank you. Just unmute yourself and chat.
Hi,
Yeah.
Anthony.
Hi.
Reverend Tony. Hi. I'm just still crying from the song. I've
Didn't
been like, hmm?
Didn't they tear it up?
Oh my gosh. It was
Ah.
like, okay, yeah, I needed that. So I hope
Mhm.
the link is somewhere around where
Mhm.
I can
Peter,
listen to.
yeah, Peter put the link in the chat.
Oh, I'm so grateful.
Mhm.
So I'm going to tell a story that I've told twice this week. And because this was the subject, I guess I feel called to tell it a third time.
Mhm.
You know, I've really been challenged with what happened at the Capitol. I really
Mhm.
have. It's that post-traumatic slave syndrome going on. And it's like, okay, here it goes. And, but this time around, I know God. I know who I am and whose I am, and I could feel God. And the story that I told twice this week, and there are a couple of people in here have heard this, you know, I was getting dressed on Saturday morning to go to one of my CSL groups. And all of a sudden, I heard the voice of Reverend Jeff say, God does not have a penis. And when I heard the voice, I just stopped and knew that I had to listen to what else God had to tell me. And as I sat there, you know, it finally dawned on me that, you know, growing up Catholic, you know, God was always very far away. I could not reach God directly without a priest. And God looked like the person who has his knee on my neck. And there's no way I was able to feel a God like that until I learned and understood that God was love. And when I understood that I could feel God, and it was in a Pentecostal church, and it was through the music. So music is the way I feel. It was at that point realizing that God within me, which I now call spirit because it doesn't have a face and it can show up any way and anyone. It's like now I can feel God because God is not my oppressor, which in everything I saw growing up, he looked just like that person with his knee on my neck. So I love knowing who God is, who I am, and whose I am.
Thank you for sharing and feeling it. Thank you. Whew. All right, I'm getting God bumps. All right, so who was on the floor of the disco when you first saw God? Where's my actors? Where are my musicians? When you feel that, that happens to me in marching band. When you feel the right notes, or you feel everybody around you is on point and they're on cue. That there's a feeling that I can relate to about God. Peter, Paul.
I'll share a unison concept, and I think this is where you're coming from in the oneness that we celebrate so much here. And you mentioned the disco floor. Well, prior to the disco floor, I found God at boot camp. I know this is going to floor you, but I'm a veteran, okay, Tony? I'll even make it even stronger for you. I was on a submarine. I know. It's hard to believe that I have a top secret, super top secret clearance, but it's true. I acquired one, and I did serve in the Navy. But when we went to boot camp, we had to learn to march. And when you had probably 30 to 50 guys from all creeds and races jammed into a dormitory, woken up at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning by a drill sergeant that was horribly mean, to militarize us to act as one. So in our first marching sessions, we were like, it was horrible trying to get the pace. But he kept drilling us, and he rode us hard. And we were in Florida. And at the time, I was at the Orlando Training Center in Florida. And vast space. And from morning to nightfall, I swear to God, from 6 a.m. till 10 p.m., probably some labor law somewhere he broke, we marched. And it was awful. There was one point that we were led by a guy that was elected to call the cadence and the direction, and he literally walked us off a cliff. Okay. And we just followed and went along. We didn't know what we were doing. But the exercise I'm trying to express was that all of a sudden, one day, midday, after several days of this, all of a sudden we learned to trust one another. We learned what guide meant, side to side and front to back, knowing your space. We all knew to hit the left foot first at the same time, then the right foot, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it expanded into one unit of 30 to 50 guys that were able to uniformly march with proper spacing. And there was a God moment of unison when you only heard one left foot and one right foot, one left foot and one right foot. We were perfectly in sync with one another. And to me, that was a God moment. That's when I saw God, when I felt I was in the oneness of it all, not knowing what I know now, but there was a literal physical experience of being able to be in the oneness with a whole bunch of other ones, if that makes sense. So that's my God moment.
I love it. And thank you. And that took me there too. That was great.
Thank you.
And with Paul and Sabrina and what Judith all talked about, and the theme of the week, clean slate. You can do it again. You can rewrite it. This is the opportunity that you get to do it over and over again if you choose to, and you can add up some crazy stuff in there, which I love. Freya and then Peggy. Miss Hermanson. You can unmute yourself and your camera and tell us just. There you go. Hi.
I was just. Oh, where am I?
There. I see your head. There you go.
I was just clapping for Paul, but I could say something. Mine's similar to a couple others that we heard about. I was raised Protestant, but Presbyterian, and everything is like 1, 2, 3 in order, and and so we went to visit my grandmother, who had which you wouldn't want to hear because she was Baptist, and they did a call to the front, and I felt it in my heart. I mean, it was just like this huge, this expansive, loving feeling in my heart. And I knew to not go up in the front and embarrass everybody. But I still remember it. So, and it was just it was and music will do. I
Mm-hmm.
just hear one note and
Yep.
my heart will open up if it's the right
Yep.
music, you know, hymns or
Mm-hmm.
something. That's why I like the old hymns.
Mm-hmm.
Eh,
There's a method behind that. Yep.
I appreciate your question. Thank you.
Oh, great. Thank you for sharing that. Peggy? Thank you, Tanya.
I was actually doing the same thing that Freya was doing. I was laughing, but I certainly can add to the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I was a kid, I grew up Catholic as well, but that really had nothing to do with going to ballet school.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you start ballet school at 5.5 to 6 years old. And one of my biggest dreams, you know, was that I wanted to be able to get with my fellow ballet students, and some of them were with little boys, only two, but that's okay. We had two. And to be able to line up like the Rockettes. Now, obviously, at that point, I think I might have been 8 by then when my dancing teacher allowed us to do that. She knew it was a fun thing to do, and we did it. However, it was in remembering that I started reflecting on that oneness of all of us when I was in high school. And I was in the band playing my clarinet and still taking dancing lessons at the same time and all of that. But it was only then that I began to really kind of understand that the power, the real power of God existing in my world. Because it was only my world. You have to understand, there wasn't only my world. And so over the years, I've certainly kind of thought back on that. So thank you, Reverend Tony, for bringing up that question, because certainly with this philosophy, it certainly brings it back to the front of my mind. And the level of awareness of it constantly gets expanded. And I see it so much more in everyday life. So yes, so thank you for that. I kind of keep that again, bring it right back to the forefront of the mind with all this other stuff that's going on, as the paradoxes, as Constance would say, that are still alive and well.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Well, Miss Carmen, I am so glad you're raising your hand, because I know you were feeling it going up and down those stairs. So, did you feel God doing that?
Absolutely, it's God.
Yes, I know. Yes. Go ahead.
Doing Cleveland Cascade 15 times, going up and down the stairs 15 times. You meet God. And during that was my ministry, Goddess Boot Camp Ministry. And the ministry was elevating spiritual consciousness through intense physical fitness. So everything we did was, you know, myself and my participants meeting God. And in meeting God, going that extra step, that extra, you know, that extra mile, that inquiry within, and that, you know, what am I here to do? You know, and also the humility and the humbleness of bowing to that, to make the mind, body, and spirit even stronger. But you know, through your talk, I'm thinking about, you know, as a black person, and celebrating Black History Month, you know, knowing how God has been with us all this time. The more that I learn of our history, the more that I learn of what we've been through, the things that no one wanted to talk about or wanted to keep undercover, or didn't, you know, wanted to leave in the bowels in which they came from. I think, oh God, you know, the surviving, you know, and the elevating, and while we still rise, just the whole process of the rising, that's God, you know, and just being, you know, this person who through a contract, spiritual contract, or, you know, chose to manifest itself into a Black woman, you know, and and moving through that and allowing God just to work through me constantly, all the time. And really, really, really proud of that, really happy about that, and it hasn't been easy, but it hasn't been all bad because, I'm knowing how to do things that and to persevere and to be resilient in ways that others can't, still I rise. So I'm just really grateful for that. But yeah, thank you for taking me back to those stairs,
Yeah.
and that exercise. And it all started, in a boot camp that I happened to do for spinning with my job. And it was at 4:30 in the morning in San Francisco. We had to take Bart over there and ride for 2 hours non-stop. And the elevation in spiritual, yeah, you're meeting God. It was Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I was meeting God every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
And
at
lifting
that
those
time.
legs up.
And I just couldn't wait to share this with somebody else, and so thus started Goddess Boot Camp Ministry. But it was just such an elevation of consciousness and a oneness that I felt among my fellow colleagues at the time and everyone else, and I wanted to share it. I wanted to share it with those of us, myself included, who had been in places where the darkness had really pulled us down. The darkness said, you stay here, you can't go to the light. And I knew that there was the light. So I'm just really in appreciation of that, and remembering how that felt in my body to be in that oneness, with God. Thank you.
Carmen Illusion, I set you up for Sunday. Now she knows what it feels like. This is it, and this is a community. I will end with did you felt the energy just when we're talking and whatever, and as Dr. Judith even said, we can't wait till we get back together. That's that feeling of community, like minds. And the good thing is that that's the energy we can pull and shift and whatever. I felt so good about the what's coming up for this month because it's also a variety. It's different. There's some history of Black New Thought. There's some new things. You don't even know this yet, but we're going to try to have a storyteller for the kids. So again, you will touch something, you will feel something, and it's a community that I am so excited because that Lift Every Voice and Sing Zoom production, that's what heaven on earth looks like, and that's what Centers for Spiritual Living Oakland, that I can only dream and know the truth that that's what it'll look like. So I'm excited to be here, and I am closing it. Is there any last share that somebody wants to put into the universe? If not, we will bring it to Paul. Whew. See, now I'm not going to sleep tonight. I'm all hyped up. Oh, one more thing too, and I have to share this. Yeah, I saw one night in Miami over the weekend, and I didn't think I would see it. That was critical in teaching me history. I had no idea about those four men, how they came together on one night. Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown, and who was the singer?
Sam Cooke.
Sam Cooke. I was blown away. So anyway,
Yes.
so if anybody hasn't seen it, that'll kick you off for Black History Month.
Awesome.
All right, up, Dr. Judith, did you want to end?
Judith, yeah, let's give her a moment.
Go ahead, Dr. Judith.
Yeah, I am just so grateful that this is February. This is Black History Month. This is the time when my beloved granddaughter has released her relationship. And she's taken the kids, and she is now living on her own with friends of mine. And I want her to, I need to get her to listen to this when it's on the YouTube, because So important.
Good.
So important, and such an important month. And when she chose to do this, it's like
I like
it's going to
that.
be wonderful. Perfect.
We hold her when we do the closing prayer, Tony, we'll hold Judith's family in our hearts a little closer than normal. Okay, Judith?
Thank you.
Oh, so first of all, let's thank Reverend Tony for this action-packed 50 minutes so far. Yay, see all the applauding and the thumbs ups and everything. Thank you, Reverend Tony, for reminding us how important this month is. And I'm going to give you some information for all of us. So I'm going to take a little bit of time to get through this as Peter shows it. As Tony said, we have a crazy good February coming up from the our ecumenical team, leadership team. So this Sunday, February 7th, we have a special treat. Practitioner Emeritus Carmen West Jefferson, who was here tonight, and practitioner and ministerial student Lucian Baker, who's also here tonight, will be starting off Black History Month on Sundays services, focusing on the theme of One Journey, Many Paths. So join us on Sunday at 10 a.m. for meditation and service at 10:30. Then next Wednesday, February 10th, practitioner, go back one, Peter, if you would, thanks. Next Wednesday, he was here on Sunday, he'll be here on Wednesday. Lucian will be with us to bring spiritual practices and riveting speaking to Black History Month. Now, Lucian has been teaching us on Wednesdays all along about Black history, and I'm so grateful that he's going to be there. He's one of my favorites. As I guess I shouldn't say that. They're all my favorites. Every Wednesday night speaker has just been terrific in the last several years. So, Lucian, I look forward to seeing you on next Wednesday night. Our meditation at 6:30 and services at 7. So the Black History Month organizing team has created a full schedule of activities for February. One has already started, which happens every day during the week, Monday through Friday at 12 noon. And it's a devotional with Dr. Dan. Dr. Dan Morgan was the founding minister of Guidance Church of Religious Science in Los Angeles, and one of the early Afro-American science of mind thinkers and writers. Practitioner Emeritus Dodi Cheney Fernandez will be reading Monday through Friday at noon from his book, Guidance for Our Spiritual Journey, followed by a short discussion and prayer. This book is more than a daily spiritual reading. Dodi says it's a spiritual guide to a spiritual journey. It shifts me and it takes me deeper. The meeting information is on our events page on our website. Yeah. Also,
highly recommend that too.
And it's there every Monday through Friday at 12 noon for this month. And we're only a couple days into it.
Wonderful. Yes.
So you can jump in on it. There's a grand lineup of Sunday and Wednesday speakers focused on Black History Month. And that should be on the next slide, Peter. See all those folks? They're gonna
that's pretty. Isn't that nice?
Oh, they're all going to grace us. So I'm going to stop here.
Wait. Now let's give praise and love to Constance. She had a great time.
Thank you. I'll behave, Reverend Tony.
All right, y'all sit down. This is my show right now, okay? Jeez, Tony, you just got them all on camera.
I know. Look how pretty that is.
It's very pretty, and Constance does great work. But I want to give you a quick shout out of what's coming up on Wednesday nights in advance. Like I said, Lucian is next Wednesday. Louise Thompson is going to speak the following Wednesday, and you see him pictured here. Kev Choice is joining us on the 24th. He's going to be speaking and playing music. So mark your calendar for the 20th, every Wednesday night this month. Those are great folks. And then coming on Sundays is Carmen and Lucian, of course, we just spoke about. But D. Jacqueline will be here on the 14th. Reverend Tony will be speaking on the 21st. And a long lost girlfriend of mine who I absolutely adore, one of the first people that welcomed me here at the center, physically, literally, one of the first over a decade ago, Reverend Sunshine Michelle Coleman will be here on the 28th. And I'm telling you this in advance because the slide is there. But that's the great work that our team has done to pull things together. So we thank our ELT, Ecumenical Leadership Team, for pulling this together. It's a great month coming. Also, my Grandmother's Hands book group for white and white identified people with practitioner Chantel Rolfing and Allison McKenzie starts Monday, February 22nd. So you can see more about that on our events page. Also, the Monday Village News will be full of information and interviews with congregants about Black History Month and so much more. So we got a book study, we've got speakers on Wednesdays and Sundays, we've got the daily devotional. Oh, wait a minute, I'm getting some breaking news here from our information desk. I'm getting it, I'll read it to you as it's coming across the wire. Love Tashia Asante, she's a poet and performer, will do an African storytelling event for kids of all ages after the last Sunday service on February 28th. That's hot off the press, y'all. The ticker tape has been punched. And so there'll be more details to follow. Also, on other events that we're having this month, I believe it's next Sunday with Zoe on February 7th and his group. The Calm, Compassionate Attention to Loss Ministry is meeting on Sunday right after service at 12:30, and their February theme is grief, loss, and love, living in grace. Again, the Zoom information for this event is on our events page. It's membership time. If you've been wondering about what an official voting membership means at Oakland Center, everyone in the village is a member in our heart. Come to the 2-hour membership class on Saturday, February 20th at 10:30. You can sign up to attend this on the events page of the website. Zoe is throwing a chat in there. What are you saying in chat for me, Zoe? If you'd like to become a member of the Oakland Center or want to know more about membership in the Oakland Center, please register on that events page for that 2-hour class on the 20th. Thanks, Zoe. That's where I was going to go. That's how you find out what the path to membership is. Also, have you liked our new Facebook page yet? Visit it at Spiritual Living Official. Share it with your friends so we'll have more coverage. I told you there was a lot going on. I hope you caught it all the way. If you didn't, always visit the Center of Information here at the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living, and that's our website at oaklandcsl.org. Everything is there. I want to remind you that we also have the Facebook group pages on there, a hot link to that. There's a hot link to our YouTube channel where this event, this Wednesday night event, all of our Sundays are there, and lots of video messages from congregants and from Reverend Jeff. So we have our own YouTube channel there. So there's a lot to see on the website. It'll fill in all of the information. Make sure you check out the events page. That's where a lot of these activities I mentioned will be there. We also have a lot of information that can come to you in email through our weekly Village News newsletter. If you're not getting it right now and would like to get it, go to the webpage, bottom left-hand corner. There's a place you can enter your email address and submit it, and the newsletter will come to you. So with that in mind, that's our announcements. Let's just take a minute to focus on something very important, our offertory. Now, Reverend E is all over me all the time to talk offering, Paul. And so I just want to take a spiritual moment and in the interest of oneness, knowing that we are abundant and we are safe and we are clean and we are fortunate here at the Oakland Center. We have our own center, we have beautiful grounds, and we'd like to support it. And if you feel so inclined and you want to financially support it, this is the time to consider contributing an offering. So I bless that and I receive it and I'm grateful for it. And as is everyone that is here. So let's recite the offering. Pull that offering close to your heart, whatever it may be. This gift I give is God in action.
It does good work in the world
and blesses creation. And so it is.
So it is.
So the ways that you can financially donate is where else? The web page, and go to the right at the beginning of the page. There's a donate button if you'd like to use a credit card, or if you're smart and young and hip like Tony and Lucian and and Peggy. She's okay, so she's hip, and so and she's pretty, and you can text an amount to 510-327-3431, or you can do it my old-fashioned way and send a check to the center, and our address is right there. So I want to just take a minute and thank everyone for being here tonight. If you're new and here for the first time, and know that our website has information on everything that we spoke about, we welcome you at all of our services. Again, thank you, Reverend Tony. You're a blessing, and we're so grateful you brought this subject forward. And I'm going to ask you if you close us out in prayer. Are you muted?
I just realized that.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. So Carmen, just to let you know, you said it. You said something. That was amazing, and that is a blessing. And as we lift every voice and sing, I am knowing that is God. That is that voice that is crying loud, it is shouting, it is singing, it is screaming, and that is the change this world needs. It starts with me, it starts with you, it starts with our community. How wonderful and blessed we are to truly be a voice up on the hill that is going to ring around the Bay Area. I am forever grateful knowing that when the time comes, and it's already here, those gates are blessed. So I am thankful for this team. I'm thankful for everything that happened. I spoke last week quickly at Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living, an hour and a half before our service, and I was singing our praises. How wonderful the team has come together in love and leading this community and the community. We look good, we smell good, we are all good. And just as Paul said, abundant, knowing that we are just standing on the shoulders of those who have come through our center. And truly, we are setting it up for those who are going to come behind us. I give thanks for this time. I give thanks for this opportunity to pray and stand in the truth with each and every one of you. Hold my virtual hands up high with you all and seal this prayer with me by saying, and so it is.
So it is.